The headline, hooked, terrified, trapped. 21-year-old journalism student Eric Bosco has scored a major scoop. His school project is on the front page of the Boston Globe, blowing the lid off a secret world that few students or their parents know exists.
Following the overdose death of a reported student
A
informant.
UMass student reportedly used by the school as a drug informant.
It's one hell of a first story for you.
That's what I've been hearing, yeah.
The article leads prosecutors to reopen the investigation into the death of fellow student Logan, whose own mother is shocked by what Eric's reporting has revealed. Agonizing text messages about his descent into drug addiction and his despair about being labeled a snitch and ostracized by his friends.
The stuff that I read, the things I didn't know, are all in print now for me to see for the first time.
And Francesca wasn't the only one surprised. While UMass Amherst has employed a confidential informant program for more than a decade, Vice Chancellor of University Relations John Kennedy told us the administration had no idea that Logan had been used in such a way.
When did you learn that Logan had been a confidential informant?
We learned through the reporting process.
So you didn't know either until a couple students who were in your own journalism school, says a lot about your journalism school, started digging around.
Absolutely.
But shouldn't you know more about what's going on in your own campus and campus police department?
This is a campus of 28,000 students. Despite anyone's best intentions, there are going to be things that we're just not going to know until they come to light like this.
CIs are a surprisingly common and unregulated practice, and UMass Amherst is not alone in using student CIs. But what about that UMass policy that parents are supposed to be notified if a student has a drug or alcohol violation?
Why weren't Logan's parents notified?
The confidentiality of the actual informant was critical to ensuring the safety of the student.
You don't think these parents have a right to know that their child is being used as a confidential informant while on a college campus?
You make a very good point, Elizabeth, and that's why when news of this tragedy came to light, we immediately suspended the policy.
A lot of people were frankly shocked to hear that this kind of practice went on. It would seem that these kinds of students would be very vulnerable to threats or manipulation.
You make some very good points, and those points are brought up in the campus review. They make some of the same points that you're making.
That these students are vulnerable to manipulation and threat.
Absolutely.
The most high-profile example of that manipulation? The case of Rachel Hoffman, one so shocking it would change the law. 2020 covered her story in 2008.
She could be anyone's daughter.
Rachel was a recent graduate of Florida State University when police busted her for selling small amounts of marijuana. Just like Logan, they made her an offer.
Your 23-year-old daughter was told, here's your choice. 5 years in prison or be a confidential informant.
Correct.
I don't know who would pick 5 years in prison.
Sure enough, Rachel agrees to be a CI. Police then send her to meet two big-time drug dealers to buy cocaine, ecstasy, and believe it or not, a handgun, all while wearing a hidden microphone. It was a major sting.
Rachel had never, ever had any training for this.
As Rachel drove down this deserted road, the targets of the sting discovered her wire. They then shoot and kill her with the very gun she was supposed to buy.
It was a tragedy of errors.
Attorney Lance Block worked with the Hoffmans to pass a Florida state law that puts restrictions on the use of CIs. It's called Rachel's Law. And now, because of Logan's case, they filed a bill to expand the law to include college campuses.
What happened to Rachel and Logan was wrong. It's morally wrong, and the system needs to change.
In fact, during our interview, Vice Chancellor John Kennedy told us the system is changing permanently at UMass Amherst.
We have decided to do away with the use of student confidential informants on this campus.
Do you think Logan would be alive today if he hadn't been used as a confidential informant?
Look, I can't get into the specifics of this case. The district attorney has instructed us not to talk about the specifics of this case because the investigation is an ongoing and pending investigation.
But you're changing university policy as a result of this. You must think there's a link between the use of Logan as a CI, a confidential informant, and his death 10 months later.
No, what I would tell you is that the incident that you described, this tragic incident, caused us to re-examine the confidential informant policy on campus.
As the college rewrites campus policy now, a mother is left to wonder, what was it all for? a college junior forced to make an agonizing choice, lost his life. The charges against Sleepy Dan, Logan's former roommate who he helped the police bust, have since been dismissed. And the alleged heroin dealer who sold Logan that lethal dose, he remains at large. Francesca would use her dead son's phone one last time to send a message to that anonymous dealer.
You texted that boy, didn't you? That young man.
Yes,
What did you say?
you killed my son, and I hope you rot in hell.
And just this week, 2020 has learned that phone number belonged to a paid teacher's assistant at UMass, according to a university directory. He is no longer at the school, and the open investigation is now in the hands of the local district attorney.
The dealer. What has happened to him?
Nothing happened to him, as far as I know. Nothing.
He hasn't been arrested?
No.
Why wouldn't they go after a dealer who gave another student a deadly dose of heroin?
Maybe they made him a confidential informant.
So, what do you think? Did those police make a crucial wrong decision by not arresting Logan and letting his parents know?
And could that have prevented what happened in this case? The conversation's still going tonight on Facebook and Twitter. Use the hashtag ABC2020.